So what's up guys, going to show you back in the video today is what if Fiore and Gabby never swap teams. So right off the bat, there's no vote. I think the purple team win because the big reason that the teal team won the original is because Fiore swapped the flags, but she's on their team now, so she wouldn't do that. Episode 2, this is the flags challenge, so I think Tom and Jake start their dynamics. Lil still makes the alliance with Ashley, Nick and Will. I think Alec makes us Gabby and Ellie decide to work together to protect each other. And I think what would happen is Will would still freak out and lose the challenge. And I think Alec would be like, okay, we need to... I think Alec tries to convince Will, but I don't think it's going to be the same way as Fiore. So I feel like the purple team would still win the challenge. But there's a big difference at elimination because Lil, Ashley, and Nick have a decision between Will. So they don't get rid of Will because he's in the alliance. So they actually go for someone else. So I think at this point, the person they would go for would be Gabby. I know this sucks, and this is the what if Gabby and Fiore swap season, didn't swap teams, but I think realistically they did it in episode 1. So I don't see why they wouldn't do the same here. They might vote for Alec because of his standoffish attitude, but I think they vote for Gabby here. This is elimination. Ellie's very sad Gabby's gone, so is Alec, and they wish her farewell. Episode 3, this is where we have the Fears Challenge. The Fury passes, Dan. Drew passes, Dan fails, Gret passes, Miriam fails, Tom fails, Jake fails. Alec fails, Lil passes, Ashley passes, Ellie, Nick passes, and Will. So the teal team actually lose because in the original, it's Drew that gets voted off. So the purple team lose, and then Gret makes the girls' alliance and would still get Tom to flip. So I think Drew's still gone. Doesn't affect the purple teams. Episode 4. This is where usually we have the episode. So at this point, episode 4. So I think the big reason, so the pairs then, you fight each other, and the both pairs, so Ashley and Lil, Nick and Will, Alec and Ellie. So because Ellie's not around to pick up Dan's glasses in episode 2, I'm going to say that Dan finds the totem. So I gotta keep that in mind. So Alec and Ellie would decide to keep winning challenges at this point if that's the best way for them to win. So first of all, Jake, Alec versus Tom. Then it was Gret and Ellie. I want to say Ellie. It's now Will and Jake, and I think, well, not Will, Dan and Will. He's Dan. He's not going to really do anything, so Will's going to win. Nick, Ashley, and Jake, and Miriam. I'm pretty sure Ashley will win. Jake and Nick. I'm going to say Jake, and then Will obviously is not going to fight in this situation. I'm pretty sure the purple team will win the challenge. Actually, would they win the challenge? So 1 point to purple, 1 point to teal, 2 points to teal, 3 points to teal. Yeah, the purple team will lose the challenge. And then Gret has Fiore at this point on her side, so they're like together. And then Dan has his totem. So I feel like these three vote for Fiore, and Gret has Tom's Lily. So I think Tom would actually vote. Dan can't trust the guy's line, so I feel like he actually goes for Dan. But Dan has the totem, so I think Dan uses his totem on a big threat. So he uses it on Fiore. And Fiore goes. I know this wasn't intentional, this wasn't my plan. I didn't think this was going to happen, so I feel like the girls will vote together. So they vote for Dan, and the other three vote for Fiore, and I think Fiore's losing that tiebreaker. Gret has Tom, so I think she votes for Dan, and then Dan has the totem. So I think these two would have Miriam, they vote, and they can't vote for Gret. So they vote for Fiore, and I think Dan Also, it's the Fiore. I think Fiore's out. Episode 5. This is where the double elimination time and the cooking challenge. So Miriam and Jake still bond about Jake's grandmother dying. Miriam and Jake still bond. Alec and Ellie do pretty bad at this challenge. Originally, they lose. And Gret volunteers to go, as she would want to, make an alliance and make the other team weaker. So first of all, the actual vote, they vote for Alec because he cost them the challenge. And then Gret would pick in this 4-person alliance. And the person she would choose to eliminate would probably be Will. Because most people wouldn't see it, but Will is actually a very big challenge threat. And even though he's scared right now, I think she would realise if Will gets confidence in himself, he can be quite threatening. So she chooses to get rid of Will. Episode 6, this is where we have the racing challenge. So I think Gret would win immunity now because she was the closest besides Gabby. Gabby's not here now. And I think Lil would actually win the challenge. Ellie knows that she needs to win immunity because she's definitely going home. So I think Lil definitely wins the challenge. They both Ellie, so Ellie, and I'm going to say she gets Miriam. These 3 are going to vote for Dan. But Dan has his totem at this point. So Dan uses his totem and gets rid of Tom. So Tom and Ellie swap teams. Not elimination though. Episode 7. Jake's annoyed at Dan. I think Dan and Ellie work together. And Gret also kind of works with them as well. So I feel like what would happen is the waterworks. Lil does pretty well in this challenge. And I'm looking at the people here originally. I think Tom's pretty good at this. So I think the teal team win. And the purple team would lose the challenge. These 3 vote for Jake. Jake's out. Episode the merge. Merge day. Bye bye teal. And the purple team. Alright. So they have the numbers. So Miriam and Tom, and Gret goes to Ellie, and Dan explains they need to work together to get rid of them. Dan's gonna do what's best for his game. So the questionnaires challenge, Ellie, Ashley, and Nick's not gonna win this. Tom and Miriam's not. This is the one challenge I'll say that Dan actually probably wins because he's very smart. So I think Dan actually wins immunity. So I think Gret would get Miriam and Tom to vote for Nick. And the other 3 would vote for Ellie. Tom, Nick's out here. Episode 9. This is where we have the zombies challenge. So I think Gret was out first. I think Gret's losing. Dan would do bad. I think Tom probably wins immunity, and then everyone just votes for Gret. And I think they're a duo. These 3 are majority. These 4 vote for Gret. And I think everyone gets rid of Gret here. So 10, Disventure Sonner. I think Ellie's going to tie with these 2. Dan and Ellie decide to work together. And I think what would happen is Tom still digs up the totem. And we'll say Ashley wins immunity. And these 2 vote for Dan. Tom and Miriam also vote for Dan. I think Dan's gone here. So episode 11, this is the flashlights challenge. I think Ellie works with Tom and Miriam to get rid of Ashley and Lil because they're her former teammates and she would want revenge for them for voting her off. And I think Ellie would still win immunity. And they choose to get rid of Lil. They choose to get rid of Ashley because she's a bigger threat. Episode 12, this is the pairs. So it's Miriam and Ellie, Tom and Lil. So Lil wouldn't throw the challenge to get rid of Tom. And I think Tom and Lil are definitely a better pair than Ellie and Miriam. So what I think would happen is that Tom would use Lil would choose Miriam and Tom would choose Miriam. So I think Ellie's out here. And then episode 13, the finale. So in the finale, Tom gets Jake, Lil gets Ashley, Miriam gets Jake, Tom, I'm gonna say, Lil gets Ashley, and I'm gonna say Tom gets Drew. Tom would apologize to Drew, and Drew would be cool about it. So I think Miriam probably gets Dan, and Tom gets Jake. So Tom and Lil would team up to decide to take out Lil. So third place, Lil. And they race in the go-karts. It's very close. The winner, I think, would be Tom. But if you prefer, Miriam can also still win the season. And obviously Tom still shackles Jensen to get the money in either situation. So thank you guys for watching. This thing, my I think season 1 have gone. If Gabby and Fiore didn't swap teams, so a lot of things would actually change. So Alec being out very early would change a lot as well. And yeah, peace throw up.